Welcome back to M Hood Fishing. So yeah, I was up here at the ditch restocking for a big baits, no weights session tomorrow. I did that. That is done. I can't leave without trying to do a bass video. So let's see what's up. It might just get thrown on the floor. You never know. Oh, something's moving water like crazy right there. I think it's about time for us to do a little bit of a walk. See if we can find a bass somewhere else. Probably over there. I see cichlids over there right now. Just on the other side of this vegetation. Right underneath the surface. Yeah, there's a lot of cichlids. There always is. Lately there has been anyway. All just right up against the concrete, like right off it. There's probably other panfish here, but further out in front of where those cichlids are. Put this rod down. See if there's a bass. I bet this water is really hot still. Yeah, I don't know if you can see them, but I see a lot. I see little, about maybe a dozen or more right here in front of me, moving around. There's got to be some hogs in there too, you know, some big Rio Grande cichlids. You can eat those, and they're in the same family as tilapias, right? Tilapia is a cichlid. I eat them sometimes, but I'm not in the mood to eat out of this drainage ditch right now. Oh, looks like a honking big one right over there. I want a honking big bass, but we might have to settle for cichlids. Sometimes these cichlids are fun to catch on the jig. I haven't had much luck lately getting them to hit jigs. If they were stuck on a bed spawning, which they can spawn more than once a year, they sometimes do spawn more than once a year. Typically you'll find them spawning in late summer. But I've already seen them do that. I don't know if they did that for this full moon, but the last full moon, I noticed cichlids getting into that behavior right when I was out here fishing right before that full moon. They were getting ready. Yeah, that's why we got so many of them, because they can spawn more than once a year, and they're aggressive feeders, and there's not much to, they don't have much of a competition, or you know, predators. They don't face a lot of predation in nature. I don't think they're going anywhere. It's got to be like over 100 from the vegetation there all the way to this point. Easily 100, because there's easily even more than 100 right in this ditch, let alone where I just was. I mean, there's even more over here. Looks like nothing but cichlids of all different sizes, some bigger ones and a lot of small ones. People like to debate how they got in our waters. It's likely aquarium dumping, but you always hear these stories about Katrina, and I think it's true that they weren't really in the water. No one spoke of them before Katrina. It's after Katrina when they become a thing, right? So Katrina definitely could have had something to do with it. But right after Katrina, they weren't really everywhere down here. but over time they did become everywhere. They're just one of the most common aquarium fish, you know. They're not too expensive. They're, back in the day, back around Katrina, they weren't super expensive, and they were a common species in people's aquariums. People liked them. People still do. They think they're beautiful. Years ago, people would message me all the time wanting to buy cichlids from me, offering lots of money, and I just ignored the emails and messages because, you know, I'm a YouTuber. I'm not a fish salesman. I'm not a guide. I mean, I'm not a commercial guide. I don't do that. I don't have the license for it or the insurance. I'm just a YouTuber. But yeah, people were like, oh, sell those fish to me, send them to me live. I was like, no way. Why don't you just come down here and catch them yourself? Nobody ever messages me about that anymore. In the spirit of getting a third video today, and just because I ended up talking so much about these cichlids, let's see if we can get a few. See how big they're gonna be, right? As soon as I start targeting them, it seems like they all go away. Oh, no they didn't. Here they come. It doesn't take anything. These fish aren't going anywhere. Look at that. Something tried to get at that one though. I'm only going to do a few. Just wanted to see if there's a whole mess of them right here. I like catching them on jigs like I've said before, but oh, that one's big. But they're just not hitting jigs right now. That's not the big one I was looking for. I've said this a million times in other videos. The reason why you're always going to find cichlids real close to cement, concrete, or rocks is because in their natural habitat, that's rocky, right? Like in the Rio Grande and other places in South Texas and northern Mexico. So they relate to the rocks. So in this kind of environment, it's going to be concrete because there are no naturally occurring rocks in this part of Louisiana. That's why it's so nice when you leave this area and you go to a place that has naturally occurring rocks. You're like, oh, look, naturally occurring rocks. I thought I would never see them again. I'm pretty sure these fish can see me for the most part, because as I move, they move. I should probably be up a little higher on the bank, but honestly, I'm lazy and I know I'll still catch a cichlid regardless of that kind of stealthiness. Oh. Well, regardless of whether we get a big one or not, I'm about done because the camera just overheated again. It happens when I'm standing in direct sunlight around this time of year. It might be September, but we're actually in the hottest part of the day here in the afternoon. Man, that's twice. It overheated again. Oh, that means I need to go. So I predict in a crazy amount of time, like maybe 80, maybe 100 years. What does it matter? We're not going to be around, right? A few of you might. But anyway, in about that time, it's quite possible the state of Louisiana, if the state of Louisiana is still around, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be, they'll naturalize this species because apocalypse, nuclear bombs, crazy extinction level events. That's about what it's going to take to get Rio Grande cichlids out of the water in Southeast Louisiana. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, being a member of the channel. Yeah, you're right. I'll see y'all next time.